Good morning. Today is May 7th. The time now is exactly 11:20 a.m. and I'm recording because I am on my way to an appointment. A couple of weeks ago, I made a video that was regarding myself being sexually assaulted. On April 21st of 2018, I was sexually assaulted, literally sexually assaulted, by a person by the name of Cedric L. Smith. This person was a mentor, a friend, a leader, and someone who I trusted dearly with my safety, my well-being, and my life and career. I had just returned from overseas and I reported to my new job site. And this person was the first one that I knew that was in that area who was familiar with it more so than I. And I reached out to them to see how we could connect, or how we could meet up and go over things that has transpired over the past year and a half to 2 years. And on this particular date, I think it was April 20th, I had randomly went on a hike to get out and go do something in the state of California that I enjoyed doing. Upon conclusion from going on my hike, I sent that person a text message to see if they were in the area and if they would like to meet up for dinner. That person responded yes, and so we went to dinner at Buffalo Wild Wings. Upon conclusion of dinner, the dinner, from my point of view and perspective, and from the fact of the matter, is it was only intended to catch up over the time that was lost between, at that time, them and I being separated by places of employment. And upon conclusion of dinner, that person notified me that they did not have their wallet, that they had forgotten it at home and did not have it on them. And so, what would any friend do? Would they leave that person hanging? Or would they pay for dinner with the intentions and hopes that from one good friend to another, or one good person to another, you would pay that person back? So, I paid for dinner. That was not my intention, and that was not the plan. We were discussing, there were still things that were not discussed, so he brought up, maybe should we go and look around the mall, pick out a few items, clothes, or should we go back to a room and catch up for old time's sakes and have a couple of drinks? That was not odd to me. I felt safe. I felt comfortable. Everything was okay. So we exit Buffalo Wild Wings. I parked further down because that's where the open parking spaces were further down the parking lot. And wherever they parked got a closer parking spot. So as we exited, I got in that person's car and they took me to my vehicle, which I got in my vehicle and I followed them. I didn't know where we were going at that point. So I followed that person to an alcohol store and we purchased a bottle of vodka. I didn't mind drinking anything straight, but my favorite alcoholic beverage is something that has flavor, whether it's strawberry lemonade, something of lime, or whatever the case is. So that was the beverage that we had got. It was a strawberry flavored bottle of vodka, I believe. And again, under the impression and the statement that they had forgotten their wallet, I paid for the drink. The ice, no, it was just a drink. And then got back in our separate vehicles, and I followed that person where they led me, going through a gate and into a specific housing development is what I call it. I'm trying to keep things a little bit without having to tell too much information. So I followed that person to where they had decided where we would spend the majority of the rest of the evening. And I don't know where that person lived. I didn't know if we were going back to the house or if we were just going to a hotel room. But eventually they led me to a hotel room. I'll just go ahead and say that I was sexually assaulted by a guy. I don't like men. I do not like men. And I'll leave it at that. So we park, we exit our vehicles. I had taken a bag with me earlier in the day, because like I do every day. I got my daily carry bag here with an extra pair of clothes, 2 things of water, some first aid things, headphones, highlighters, just things that we need on a daily basis that we can't keep in our pockets. So I got my bag out of the truck, and because I had went on a hike, I took an extra change of clothes. And so we got out of our vehicles, I grabbed my bag, and I started following them to wherever they were gonna go and take me to, whether it was to a room or the house or whatever the case was. But when we parked, I had at that moment found out that it was not a home, it was a hotel. The way how I grew up, I did not mind being in one room with my brother, with a cousin, with an uncle. I have never been sexually assaulted. I've never been raped. I've never been anything by anyone in my entire life. And it was never odd to me with someone that I trusted, someone that was a mentor, someone that was a leader, someone that I felt safe around. I've never been in that position at all. So it was never my intentions to do anything outside of having a couple of drinks and catching up for old time's sake, talking about things that have transpired over the past 1.5 to 2 years, and that was it. And the reason for agreeing to go to a certain location, or to go to a location and have drinks, was because safety first. Even if we have one drink, it's not safe to drive. But if I had more than enough to drink, and I knew that I could not operate a vehicle, then I would have a place to lay my head for the night. And that was my focus. That was it. So I had recorded a video that I posted on Instagram that night. We watched some Medea was on the TV. That person was in the couch, sitting in a side little comforter, doing schoolwork, doing college work, and I'm drinking, it was like a little styrofoam cup, and I'm sipping on my drink, watching Medea, and on my phone. And it gets to the point where I've had too much to drink. I go and take a shower. I get dressed and undressed in the bathroom with the door closed. And when I got dressed, I had on all of my clothes, my shirt, my shorts, my boxers. I come out of the shower and I go sit on the bed. I didn't know that there was going to be one bed in the room. I did not know that whatsoever. I did not know that until that person had opened the door and there was one bed. As I was talking about before, the way how I grew up, it was nothing different than how I grew up. When cousins, when brothers, when friends stayed over, had sleepovers, there wasn't always enough room for everybody. So sometimes more than one guy would sleep in the bed, and we would just sleep head to toe and toe to head. And it would be almost like flip-flop. So one person's head, when they flip their head, they'll see another person's toes. And there was plenty of enough space to not be touching at all. At all. And so it was time for me to go to sleep. So I finished my drink. And I sleep with my shirt on all the time. And I do not sleep with shorts. I sleep with my boxers and no socks. That's comfortable to me. At that time, he was still sitting in the couch. He was still sitting in the chair. When I went to sleep, that's where he was. He was sitting in there.